Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Sorry, I had some technical challenges. That's why it took time for me to connect.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, Bhagavad Ashraya Prabhu is joining now.
No
So we'll
problem.
get started as soon as possible.
No problem. It's wonderful. Thank you.
All right. Hare Krishna, Bhagavad Ashraya Prabhu. Prabhu, you're on mute.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All good, Shri Prabhupada.
So we begin with seeing everybody, please. Lucy, you there? Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Seeing is believing.
Anita, Hare Krishna. Lucy.
I'm here. I'm just waiting for my store to open, so I'm on my way to work.
Where's your store?
Right down there. This is JV Hi-Fi.
Okay. And Manohar Kakate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
How are you, Prabhu?
Good. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Good to see you. So we'll have more people joining as we go along, or we might not.
Yes, Prabhu. No, we should go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Everyone's joining in. That's great. Okay. Nice to see you, Shamananda Prabhu. Thank you for coming. We're on verse number 11.
Yeah, 1:11.
1:11. Brurini, Brurikarmani, Shrotavyani Vibhagasaha, Ata Sadhotra Yatsaram, Samudritya Manishaya, Bruhi Bhadraya Bhutanam, Yenatma Suprasidati. I didn't share screen for that, did I? Who share screen? Has everybody got their books? Does everybody have their book with them, or?
Yeah, either book
Yes,
or
Prabhu.
laptop, whatever.
That book or have
We have got the book.
the book or the laptop. I've got the laptop. So the there's people around here. I can see things that way. Technology. Okay. Burini means multifarious. Buri, many. Karmani, duties. Shrotav, yani, to be learned. Vibhaga Saha, by divisions of subject matter. Ata, therefore, sadhu, O sage. Atra, herein. Yat, whatever. Sharam, essence. Samudrita, samudritya, by selection. Manishaya, to the best of your knowledge. Bruhi, please tell us. Bhadraya, for the good of. Bhutanam, the living beings. Yena, by which Atma, the self, suprasidati, becomes fully satisfied. Translation. There are many varieties of scriptures, and in all of them, there are many prescribed duties, which can be learned only after many years of study in their various divisions. Therefore, somebody needs to mute, I think. Therefore, O sage, please select the essence of all these scriptures and explain it for the good of all people, all living beings, that by such instruction their hearts may be fully satisfied. Beautiful question, beautiful request being made here. Beautiful request. All right, we'll read the purport and then we'll come back to this. There's a couple of specific points I really want to elaborate on, but we'll read the purport. Atma, or self, is distinguished from matter and material elements. It is spiritual in constitution, and thus it is never satisfied by any amount of material planning. All scriptures and spiritual instructions are meant for the satisfaction of this self, or Atma. There are many varieties of approaches which are recommended for different types of living beings in different times and at different places. Consequently, the number of revealed scriptures are innumerable. The numbers of revealed scriptures are innumerable. There are different methods and prescribed duties recommended in these various scriptures. Taking into consideration the fallen condition of the people in general in this age of Kali, the sages of Naimisharanya suggested that Sri Sutta Goswami relate the essence of all such scriptures, because in this age it is not possible for the fallen souls to understand and undergo all the lessons of all these various scriptures in a Varna and Ashram system. The Varna and Ashram society was considered to be the best institution for lifting the human being to the spiritual platform. But due to Kali Yuga, it is not possible to execute the rules and regulations of this institution. Nor is it possible for the people in general to completely sever relations with their families, as the Varnashram institution prescribes. The whole atmosphere is surcharged with opposition. And considering this, one can see that spiritual emancipation for the common man in this age is more. The reason the sages presented this matter to Sri Sutta Goswami is explained in the following verses. Somebody needs to mute. I'm getting some background sound of somebody shuffling things around. So please have a look at that. Okay. Humagyanati mirandasya gananjana shalakaya chakshurun militam jena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha. Shri Chaitanya manobistam stapitam jena bhutale swayam rupa kadamayam dadati swa padantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha. Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu, Dinabandhu, Jagatpate, Gopesha, Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta, Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gourangi, Radhe Brindavaneshwari, Rishabhanu Sute Devi, Pranamami Hari Priye. Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha, Kripa Sindhu Vevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pastacha Deshatarine. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat kripa tamaham vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Sanjeev, let's have a look at you, Sanjeev, hiding away there. So I'd just like to start by saying I'm very happy to be back with you all. There were some interruptions in my life over the last few weeks, as I'm sure we're all experiencing at the moment. I actually haven't been in my home now for 3 months, over 3 months. Actually, it's 13 weeks this week since I left home, thinking I would be back after a short time. But I happened to leave home just 2 days before the Sydney lockdown. So with one thing and another, I've been shuffling my life around. We're camping out at the moment, and by Krishna's arrangement, we have a very nice place here to stay near the Govardhan farm. But with one thing and another, I was running into all kinds of problems with my internet connection and so on. And I wasn't able to be here. So I'm back, and I'm very happy to be with you all again. And talking about Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desire tree of Vedic literatures. The mature fruit. Fruits have applications in various stages of their maturation. Like with a banana, actually even from the flower, we eat the banana flower. There are preparations can be made from the flower itself. And then of course there are things you can do with green bananas, and then there are things you can do with ripe bananas. And actually, the things you can do with each one of them, you can't do with the other. You can't put banana flowers in a raita. Yes. And you can't fry fresh ripe bananas as you can fry green bananas, and so on. Fried green tomatoes taste very different than fried ripe tomatoes, and so on. And of course, the example always given is the mango. The nectar that you get from the mango, you can't get from the green banana, but you can't put the ripe mango in a green mango achar. So there's different purposes of fruits at different stages of their development. And all of the Shastras, all of the Vedic Shastras are actually fruits of the tree. They are fruits on the tree. And actually they also correspond to the state of maturation of the consciousness of the person who is reading them. They respond, they exist to respond, as the verse says, the mature fruit of the tree of Vedic literature. They exist, the mature fruit of the desire tree of Vedic literature. The various Shastras exist to respond exactly to the desires of the reader. That's a very important point to understand, especially as we go deeper in the understanding of the process of self-realization. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the mature fruit of the desire tree of Vedic literature. And that is a very important reference to have in mind in regard to what we're talking about in this verse today, because this leads me to the main points that I want to talk about. Beginning with the last phrase of this, that by such instructions, for the good of all living beings, that by such instructions their hearts may become satisfied. Their hearts may become satisfied is the transliteration of the last line of this verse we're studying today. Atma suprasidati. The heart may be fully satisfied. And here, Atma means the self. So at the heart of everything is the Atma, our very self. And we are full of desires. We have desires. And we want those desires, or we want to be satisfied fully. Suprasidati. Su means complete or extreme. Just like we see Samahatma Sudurlabha in the verse from the Bhagavad Gita that explains Bahunam Janmanamante Yanavam Prapadyate Vasudeva Savam Iti Samahatma Sudurlabha. That after many, many births of acquiring knowledge, and the acquisition of knowledge springs from a desire. We want to know. Anywhere from mild curiosity to a desperate need to know something. This is what is behind the acquisition of knowledge, but it is desire that is motivating us. So we pursue all kinds of avenues to acquire knowledge. And this is not a one life activity, because actually there is no end to the knowledge that one can acquire. One can actually never acquire all knowledge in a individual subjective sense. All knowledge of this subject, all knowledge of that subject, and all knowledge of another subject, and so on. You can't do that in one life, and B, you can't do that in practically unlimited lifetimes. But Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan. Jnanavan means one who actually has it all. We have these words. Shraddhavan means full faith. Bhagavan, full of all opulences. Avan means the possessor of all of it. So there may appear to be a slight contradiction here when we say somebody is Jnanavan. But the full verse says, Bahunam Janmananante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Savamiti. Vasudeva Savamiti means Vasudeva is everything. And Mam Prapadyante means that such a person surrenders unto me. So the Jnanavan is the person who, in their relentless search for knowledge, comes to this principle of knowledge, of all knowledge, or becomes presented with this proposition. Vasudeva Savam Iti. Vasudeva, the subject of the Bhagavatam, is everything. So therefore, if you know Vasudeva, then you are Jnanavan. This is the summation of all knowledge. This is the ripened fruit of the tree, the desire tree of Vedic literature. Veda means knowledge. So there are the 4 Vedas, but then there is Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. Now, under that category of literature in pursuance of the Vedic version, you can actually put literature which is consciously in pursuance of the Vedic version, but there is also literature which is unconsciously actually pursuing the Vedic version and is giving knowledge. Excuse me. So this desire to acquire knowledge is facilitated for every individual according to their desire by Krishna. Because Krishna is the witness of everything in this material world. As Supersoul, Krishna is witness of everything because he is in the heart of every living entity. So that will bring us, as we develop our subject, that will bring us to a very deep understanding of Atma also, because Krishna is known by the name of Savatma. He is the Savatma Atma. He is the Atma of every Atma. Krishna is in the heart of every living entity. And in Bhagavad Gita, let me just get my Bhagavad Gita. I'll read a couple of verses. Always good to have Bhagavad Gita with you. And it's always good, especially to have Bhagavad Gita with you when you're reading Srimad Bhagavatam. We can go into that in more depth at another time. But in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives some very important information about understanding Supersoul. Of course, there's other points, but there are a number of verses, other places in Bhagavad Gita where we gather information about Supersoul. But in terms of what we're talking about today, we begin with verse 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 of the 18th chapter. I'll just read the English. O mighty Arjuna, according to the Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all action. Now learn of these from me. The place of action, this body, the performer, ourselves, the various senses of the body, and the many different kinds of endeavors that we engage in, and ultimately the Supersoul. These are the 5 factors of action. Somebody's trying to get in to Krishna Prabhu. I'll let them in. There we go. Then it goes on. Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind, or speech is caused by these 5 factors. Therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. One who is not motivated by false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled though he kills men in this world, does not kill, nor is he bound by his actions. Anyway, we could even go on, but we'll stick with these 13, 14, 15, and 16 today. Now, looking at 14, we can very easily come to the conclusion that without the presence of Supersoul, nothing is going to happen. Nothing can happen. The actual doer is Krishna. We are doers in that we become engaged by Krishna in the doing of an activity. But the activity cannot occur unless Krishna permits it, sanctions it to occur. And that's what's happening in every single situation, everywhere, throughout this entire material creation. Krishna is present in every situation. He is the observer of everything. And in that regard, you can all turn to chapter 5, verse 15 of Bhagavad Gita, where we find a very powerful purport about how the Lord, as Supersoul, in the heart of every living entity, interacts with the desire of every living entity. Now, bear all this in mind as we're going on, because we're talking about the mature fruit of the desire tree of Vedic literatures, and how we have come to this position where we're actually now in the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly through our association with Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of the Lord. There is no difference between the book Bhagavatam and Bhagavat, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There's no difference. So how this has happened is because Supersoul has brought us to it, either knowingly or unknowingly, through our search for knowledge, our search for answers to questions. And here we have today's verse is the first question that the sages at Naimisharanya are asking. And they're asking, give us the essence of all scripture, the essence. Now, why they're asking that is mentioned in the purport about Kali Yuga, and there's a lot we